Welcome back to another off-season episode of Sky U Pod, your college huddle Gopher football podcast. As always, we got Curry, Max, myself, fellas. We were just talking about this off camera. 29 days until kickoff against Buffalo. Can't wait. Sad summer's almost over, but it does mean that college football is on the way. But yeah, how are you both doing?
Doing good. It's crazy that it's almost here. It feels like summer's flown by, but having college football to look forward to definitely helps.
Yeah, I have a list of things I wanted to get done before we got into college football season because I'd want to put as much time into this podcast as possible, and I've saved it all here for the end stretch. So we'll see how much I actually get done off that list before Go for Football starts up here. But yeah, man, I'm doing good. Got to give out a shout out to my boy Mikey. He knows who he is. Got our first fan mail from Sky U Pod, which contained several Tyler Nubin football cards, rookie cards, Gopher cards, Rashad Bateman. I think a Tyler Johnson was in there too. So shout out to Mike. You know who you are. Appreciate the love.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks, Mike. Well, fellas, let's just get right into it. So let's talk Big Ten Media Days. They were in Las Vegas, which isn't the most exciting thing to cover, but it does mean that, again, we're a lot closer to football now. But before we dive into some Gopher news, we'll start with the Wisconsin football team and their players who are picking the Gophers as their guaranteed win this season. What are your thoughts on these Badgers? I mean, Curdy, let's start with you, man.
All right. If I'm going to go neutral on it, there was a setup to the question where they listed out like five opponents. So it wasn't like they went out of their way to necessarily guarantee the Gophers as a win. But there were teams like Indiana and Illinois on there that come up first. So to me, I take this answer as like one, it's easy bulletin board material. PJ doesn't have to give the players the context. When you get to that point in the season, I know it's at the end of the year. You're already motivated, but it's just one more thing that you just see them say. And so on top of that, it just solidifies that we're in the Badgers' head at the moment. They're in a free fall. They don't know who they are, and in desperation, they're just trying to keep their fans like, oh yeah, we'll get the Axe back. I don't think so, but you know what? I don't blame the Badger players. It's a desperate program. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, like you alluded to, the setup to the question was out of Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, and Minnesota. Which one are you going to guarantee a win?
I think Indiana
And
was in there,
did
but
they say
anyway,
Indiana? It's
I thought
still.
so. Yeah.
I mean, if you flip it and you ask any Gopher
Or
player
I'm
and throw
sorry,
in
Illinois. But
Wisconsin,
yeah. Right.
yeah, I think that's the right answer. Um, so yeah, on one hand, it's like great, like that's sure say that all you want, but if you watch their response, like the three guys all look at each other like, shoot, we might not win any of those games. So I don't know. Good for them. They got to have something to play for because they might not even be playing for a bowl game at that point. They might. Wow, their head coach is gonna be too expensive to fire at that point. So cool. Come to the bank
It's funny.
and see what happens, I guess.
I'm glad you brought that up because I had the same thought. It's like I, I get it. Like on schedule, it looks brutal and it is probably going to be brutal. But you would probably want them to say something like, we feel like we can win all these games, or like,
Right.
we're gonna get half of them, or something like that. Like
Right.
not just be like, ah, I guess Minnesota's the best bet out of all of them. So
Right.
yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
inspire. I didn't think it came across as cocky at all, which is why I don't think Gopher fans were really like fired up over it or anything. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't coming from a place of like these are, senior Wisconsin Badgers who it means a lot to them to win the Axe as like their last regular season game. Like one of the players is Billy Edwards Jr.
I,
up there
yeah,
who
yeah,
got destroyed as the Maryland quarterback coming to play here last year. So
right.
yeah, in context, it was That's the correct answer given the question, and none of them seemed very confident to answer it.
Yeah. I Whoever posed the question, I'm glad that they lumped the Gophers in with
I
the
know.
Alabamas, the Michigans, the Oregons. But you know, yeah, the phrasing of the question, like you both mentioned, it does mean something. It's not. I don't think they meant it as a knock, but I do feel like this Wisconsin team wants to beat the Gophers badly right now. Um, and I'm glad that that's a thing. I'm glad that Wisconsin, like you said, Kurt, they have us on their mind. Um, and so, it'll just reignite this rivalry, one of the oldest in college football. I think the oldest, if I'm
Yeah,
right.
longest
Um,
played.
so I mean, yeah, I'm glad they're fired up about it. PJ's already gonna fire them up about it. We've had their number for years. I
I just
can't wait
pictured
for
the
it. But
question being asked and Billy Edward Jr.'s like mind just going back to like, didn't he throw like 3 picks
I
and the pick
think
six
so.
to Wally? Like, oh man, just like, oh crap. And he doesn't have as good of weapons. But you know what? Hey, the experts say Wisconsin's going to be better a year ago, but they were bad last year, so I don't know how much that is saying. But yeah, no, you're right. It's a good rivalry. Rivalry. It'll be fun to get at them.
um, yeah, I have a good feeling about this team. Spengs, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because one of the things we're going to touch on is being fired up for this upcoming season. PJ Fleck, when he was interviewed during Big Ten Media Days, said that he wants his team to dream big and not shy away at aiming for the college football playoffs. So let's talk about that, fellas. Let's see if we're on the same page with Stengstash. Does this get you fired up for the upcoming season? Do you agree with Coach Fleck? And is there anything else that he said that you found interesting on the makeup of this team? Max, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to get excited when you hear a coach sound excited about a season. I mean, he's had previous media days where he's been like, there's a lot of transition, or it's a young team, it's a season of opportunities. He says things like that before, but when he's kind of encouraging his team to like, hey, believe in yourselves and believe that we could be something special if we, put all the pieces together. You look at everyone's kind of comparing it to like Indiana from last year. Yeah, I mean, if any team can put that kind of a year together, that's going to be a special season. And if that's the roster that he thinks we have, then yeah, it's definitely easy to get excited for it. And especially like we've talked about too, with the schedule the way it is, there are some advantages on our side. So we do have the opportunity to make it a big year.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what Max said there. I was going to say how, even last year when you can tell PJ really liked what they had and like was kind of a little bit secretive of how much they could be, how good they could be. Jeffrey agree. By the way, I'm sure everyone that listens to our show listens to Jeffrey's show, but Eyes on Big Ten, they're great. You guys are starting to sound like Husker fans. I know, but you know what? The Gopher fans, we need some Huskerness on Twitter as well. So
I
we're
agree.
here to fill that void, and be the spark, if you will, the delusional spark in the fandom. To what Spen Stash said about the most excited he's been for this season, I'm trying to temper it a little bit because the last time I felt that way was the 2020 season after following the 2019 year, the COVID year. Um,
Oof.
and that, I mean, that just got derailed by multiple things there. So, but I agree. I mean, on paper, like it looks like it could work. But every team is saying that now, right? Like, so you have your additions from the portal, like you grabbed 3 really good O linemen out of the portal, and that was a major issue last year. But you also lost your best one. You know, it's stuff like that I just don't know how it's all going to mix together, which makes me pull back a little bit, which is why I went with the actual 8-4 prediction. But you're right. Like Indiana showed it last year. If you can beat the teams that you're 50 with, like get those games at home. So you have a very, very favorable home schedule. Uh, win the games at home. Gonna have to go to Iowa, get that one. And if you can go 10-2, I think it's gonna be very tough to leave a 10-2 Big Ten team, or SEC team for that matter, out of the 12-team playoff. Just as Indiana showed last year. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you set yourself up right there. And yeah, PJ has talked about last year with the new West Coast teams about trying to navigate the new landscape of the Big Ten. He didn't really go that direction this year. There was a little bit on that with as far as like because the recruiting rules and the NIL stuff keeps changing, but he didn't really go into that as much this year. So he likes the team. It's always good to hear. PJ gets excited at these things. That's no secret. And hey, I'll give it to PJ. He was probably the most entertaining guy there out of all the coaches that spoke. You had Franklin who was just kind of complaining that he wasn't back closer to home, and then, you know, Luke Fickle, I think he's a great coach, but he doesn't exactly light the room on fire when he's talking. So that's one thing PJ's good for out there.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think is important to note too, like I don't think PJ was setting some sort of expectations. He's just saying, like to the team, hey, this is something that we can aim for. It's not out of the question, which I think in past years, as Gopher football fans, as we know, making a 4-team playoff or the BCS national championship is probably not going to happen, right?
Right.
Just simply because the odds or whatever. But now the odds are kind of in your favor, like you said, Curdy. If you do go 10-2 with a manageable schedule like we have, with talent that I think that we have, around the football here. So as long as our coaching staff can really put it together, and it sounds like they are, I think that this team can be something special. So I do agree with you, Spang Stash. I think that this team, I'm excited for this year. It
Yeah.
probably it's probably since that 2020 season that I have been, as excited. Like Kurt said,
Yeah.
it's nerve wracking, but we'll see how it goes. And
Hey, he
yeah,
said be
I'm just happy
delusional.
with how things going.
He said be
Yeah,
delusional. So as far as that goes, I think that goes to the Vance too now. Now we root for college football playoff or bust.
yeah, I agree. And here's the other thing, like as Husker fans, to be as delusional as Husker fans, I don't know. It's hard to do,
Yeah.
That's
but
a high bar.
it's a high bar. What's that stat, Kurt, that you sent in about their win total?
Right. There since I think I don't think I have the year right. I think it's like 2017 that they're the only team to finish under the Vegas win total of preseason is the Nebraska Cornhuskers. That they finished under the total team wins. I don't think that's the case this year, to be honest. I think the Huskers do
Yeah,
pretty good.
they look like Rule looks like he's going to do a good job there, and we'll see them this year. I can't wait for that game.
Yeah.
Um, some more news, fellas. The Coy Parish offense. PJ had this to say on Coy. If we're going to do this, we're going to do this. You're going to be a wide receiver. You're going to be a Wildcat QB as well as safety. Is this enough to get you on the Coy wide receiver / offensive powerhouse bandwagon? Are you surprised that PJ said this much? What do you think, Kurt?
A little bit. I think the Wildcat quarterback thing would have
Yeah,
been something like the first time you roll it out there that it would have been like, okay. But to me that makes sense. Like, okay, he's gonna be a Wildcat quarterback and then they're gonna throw him out there some drives at receiver. Which he said it's not gimmicky. It's a little gimmicky, but I mean that's fine. You know what? It's fine. I'm done complaining about it. All the Gopher fans get excited about it, so I'm not trying to like throw water on everyone's excitement. I feel like this Coy Parrish playing offense, it's gotten more like story time, headline news time than like Drake Lindsay coming in and being a first time starting quarterback as a redshirt freshman. So I don't know. Like if it works, he looks like a genius. If I was gonna critique it, like Coy is fast. Don't get me wrong; it's super athletic. But like we just brought in Turner, the back out of Marshall. Like, is that not a spot he could run here with Darius, having them both in the backfield and running Wildcat? I don't know. Maybe all three of them are out there. Maybe that's the package. I don't know. So, I'm not going to sit here and rip on it when we haven't seen it. If it works, great. If he turns an ankle doing something that any of the other guys could have done on offense, then it's going to be like, okay, open itself up for criticism. But yeah, I mean, I'm more shocked that he just revealed that he's going to be like the Wildcat QB, I guess. Not that it's going to be like something teams spend hours game planning for, but with how close to the best PJ is, I'm surprised he threw that out there.
Yeah, agreed. It's surprising, but it's also more of like he's really doubling down on like you kind of have to really go for it now. Like it's not like in years
Yeah.
past where he's kind of hyped some things up and then it just didn't ever really come to fruition. Where first, I don't know what this one just feels like it can't just be against Buffalo and Northwestern State. Like he's got to do something offensively against Ohio State and Oregon to like make it true in some way too. Like this can't be yeah, he technically played offense in garbage time. Like it sounds like he's truly building him into the game plan, and I don't know if it's going to be like there's going to be some kind of package where he lines up at quarterback and shifts to wide receiver or vice versa, or they're just going to try to confuse the crap out of the defense. Maybe they figured out Coy can throw it a little bit. I have no idea, but
Well, he
it is
played quarterback in high
surprising.
school, didn't he, a little bit? But
I
that's like
think,
everybody.
yeah,
Every good athlete that goes up to
right,
D1, I feel like, played quarterback because they're that guy.
right. Yeah, I mean, if anything, yeah, it just further, I guess, solidifies the fact that Coy is that freakish of an athlete, and he's
There
doing
we
this
go.
as a true sophomore, so it's
Yeah,
exciting in and of itself.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I think we've all talked about this. We'd primarily want to just see him at safety, not get hurt. But how many times are we going to have like a wildcat package out there? Hopefully, maybe a
Hopefully not a
few
lot.
times a
Yeah.
game, couple times a game, not even. I don't know, but uh, yeah, PJ is sharing a little more than he usually does, and I think Spengstash has another comment kind of touching on that where he really just kind of holds things to the chest, and I feel like as of late he's kind of being more expressive, sharing things, which I like. Although sometimes what he says doesn't entirely make sense, or I don't know what he's saying, but
It's
I
like you can
do
just
think,
tell he gets excited. Sorry, I thought you were saying
yeah,
something.
right. He's like a dog off the leash, sometimes, he just gets really excited and jumps up on you, and but like I just think that, yeah, I think he's excited about this team, and I think we all should be too.
For sure.
Uh, yeah, let's go to some more news, and probably what I'm really interested in seeing, fellas. True freshman Emmanuel Carmo is expected to contribute this year. What are your expectations, and how does this impact how you view the depth at rush end slash linebacker? Curdy, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there was that report, right, that we actually weren't really aware of when we were talking about him, that he was lining up off ball early downs and then kind of lining up as a pass rusher in those situations in spring camp. So it sounds like he did well enough to maybe get some on the field. Like I would assume that means he's probably athletic and quick enough that they're going to use him more as a pass rusher, similar to the Huff brothers in their. I think I don't remember which one it was, if it was Julian or the other one, but remember the TCU game where the Huff brothers came in, they just basically rushed him off the edge. Like maybe that's where they can use him, and even I'm sure he's going to play special teams too. Most of those guys do, but even if that's mainly his role, is just coming in where we feel like it's an obvious passing situation and to have another quick rusher off the edge, to me, that's perfect because I think that's one of our biggest depth questions at this point on the defensive side of the ball. So, I mean, if the true freshman is the next guy up, your best guy to go in there and get after the quarterback, I'm all for it, especially if he was the former number one recruit in the state. And yeah, if he's ready to contribute, similar to Coy, I mean, let's get it.
Yeah, I think from an X's and O's standpoint, I mean, does that help free up, if we want to have Anthony Smith be more of an interior pass rusher where he's not going to get chipped. He might find himself more one on one, and you can't
Right.
really shade away from him. Like that could be the case. I don't know. Well, I guess down the season, like it always helps to have more depth as you go later in the year. So something we haven't had in a long time. It feels like since like 2019 or some of those years where we just had. It felt like 6 different defensive ends that we could just rotate in at any time, and they were fresh and ready to go. So it's exciting. And yeah, it just feels like at the defensive end position, especially like with Carmo and Howard, like we got our young dogs for a while now, so that's pretty encouraging.
Yeah. I don't know a ton about Carmo, but the fact that he's a true freshman and lining up at like that sort of edge rusher, it really is kind of ringing that Carter Coughlin bell potential that he might be able to be, right? So, especially as a true freshman, if he's going to see some playing time, he's only going to progress, obviously, for the next years to come, which could be like again a Carter Coughlin type athlete. So that would be awesome to see him grow into something like that. I'm excited to see what he can do. And depth on defense, fellas, especially up front. We've been saying it for years, and it seems like it's finally getting back to what we saw kind of during the Fleck and Clay. I'm sorry, the Kill and the Clays days, with some solid up front lines. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Carmel can do.
Does it raise concerns for all like any of you if he's like out there right away at like linebacker, like off ball linebacker, just given what we're
Yeah,
supposed to have there?
yeah, it does. Unless he's just that good. I mean, his
Yeah.
his play
Right.
will speak for itself, but it would speak more, I guess, just negatively about the guys that we have, whether he works out or not. I guess if he is out there
Yeah.
immediately.
And if we're talking about that real quick, I love Mav. I think Mav's going to do great. He's your kind of stereotypical, uh, like white Big Ten linebacker. I don't like really good
Yeah.
against the run. Like, there's like a
Stuffs the
hundred of
run.
them. I don't want to say like I think he's going to be a good player. Uh, I I think Kamaro's got the chance to be like just like a true playmaker is what I'm trying to get at. Like a huge difference maker. Um, More along the lines of like a Damian Wilson if they're going to use him off ball. But yeah, that remains to be seen. But it's just who's going to go with Mav. That's the big question, I think. And so if he can be used in both spots and help out the team, that's great.
Right. Yeah. Well, jumping into one of our last topics here. Now this is exciting,
That's
everyone.
a good way to phrase it. Just
Hold
agreed. We call
hold
those
on to your
guys
seats.
Midwest Mikes. That's a good way to phrase it. That's exactly what Mav is. Hey, he's gonna fill the A gap and he's gonna hit you hard. That's
He is.
that's what he's
Yeah.
gonna do.
He's a clogger.
Yeah.
He's got a
Yeah,
giant.
that's right.
He's got a giant neck, and his last name's Baranowski.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you get the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, the kicking game, special teams. Uh, this is what PJ Fleck had to say about our true freshman kicker, Daniel Jackson, not the receiver, unfortunately. This is a Minnesota guy from Alexandria. This Daniel Jackson kid, quote, I am just telling you, he's a true freshman. I knew this kid 5 years ago. This kid's from Alexandria, Minnesota. He runs like a 10-5s, 100-meter dash. Um, we might have some fakes coming out from the field goal kicker. It might not just be kicks. It might just be normal offensive plays from him in the kicking formation. He's always dreamed about being a Gopher. He's a fabulous human being, a really good person, a really good kicker. He also mentioned Syracuse transfer Brady Denneberg as one of 2 guys in the kicking department. One of those guys will win the job. So, fellas, does this give you any confidence in the kicking game heading into the fall? Are special teams the biggest thing being overlooked by Gopher fans and their expectations heading into this fall?
Max,
Max?
take this one first.
I mean, does what he said get me excited about it? Well, I mean, he told us some facts about this kid, and then he said he's really fast. So what I'm looking for out of my kicker is, can he kick? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, he's
cool if
being
he
a
could do
little
all that stuff.
facetious in his answer.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
hyping up the
Yeah.
kid. But
Yeah, this is like you said, Spence. This is PJ getting the zoomies, right? He's off leash again. No, I mean it's. I guess it's great that we have two options, right? We haven't really had that in forever. It just feels like we've always been kind of
do
stuck
we?
with
I don't
one
know if he's
guy.
telling the truth or not, though.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. If you have two, you don't have one. But at least we have two guys to pick from. The odds are maybe one of them is not the worst, but I don't know. It doesn't get me that excited. It's we'll see. I got to see it to believe it.
Maybe
And
his
as far
speed
as
leads into the power behind the ball, and he can really launch him. No, I mean he was a
I hope,
five-star kicker, so it's great. But you know, again, like I know he's joking around. And how often are you actually going to run a fake with the field goal kicker? It's probably maybe once in his career here. He probably will now in some bowl game just because he said it in this presser. But like for how much PJ, like seriously, like he does everything he can to keep stuff close to the vest. And not that people can't look up this kid's
right?
profile and be like, oh yeah, he's also like a track athlete, so just watch for that. But like I am surprised he kind of just threw that out there. It's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
and not, and coaches throw stuff out at these things all the time, so I'm not trying to pretend I'm that naive to what this Big Ten Media Days actually is. It's like, it's let's be honest, the whole thing's kind of a sales pitch in itself. Is just like how your program's doing and whatnot. So I just,
Right.
it still surprised me that I threw that out there. I will say this on a positive side. I think that he spent so much time talking specifically about the true freshman kicker that it's looking like he's going to win the job. Maybe is what I'm kind of reading off of that. Maybe not. I don't know. Like none of that info gets out. So, um, but yeah, kind of like what Stash here says. Yeah, freshman phenomenon, kicking 50-yard field goals and scoring touchdowns. If it works, that'll be a bigger story than Coy, in my opinion. If Coy playing
For
both ways,
sure.
but yeah, we'll see. To answer the second part of your question, it is. And I get it. It's special teams. No one loves to spend a ton of time talking about them. Appreciate Ryan Burns gets his questions in when he does to the media about that, to the pressers, I should say. But, like, yeah, we have no idea. New punter, new kicker. I think there's like 4 punters currently on this roster. So we don't know who's going to win it. I'm just happy the kicking game, I guess, was even brought up and talked about. So we'll see. And
Right.
I do think it's probably the biggest thing fans are overlooking as a potential uh, hindrance to this team.
Yeah.
Right.
And I tell you, on this show, we will not overlook special teams. We will not. I can't let it go because, fellas, let's be honest. There are some of those coin flip games in the past that if we had solid special teams, we probably win those games. It's whether it's a missed field goal, flipping the field from a punt, whatever it may
Right.
be. It just needs to be cleaned up. But again, I'm excited that PJ seems to be excited about the kicking game. I think he understands that they need to be better um, at the kicking game at special teams. So if that means scrambling out for a run during a 50-yard attempt with this kid that can run a 10 500-meter dash, then so be it. But I prefer him to be lights out at 40 yards, just able to get it through the uprights. If you cross, the half yard line, whatever, and can kick it, that would be amazing,
It is
but
shocking to
that's
me
to be
just
seen.
how long we have to talk about the special teams unit, especially with how much praise. I know it's kind of coach beat, but how much praise like he gives Iowa success at it, and how we've all watched Iowa I mean, their offense is better now, but like before they got the new offensive coordinator, like how many close games they won because they had a punter that could flip the field. They didn't make mistakes on special teams, and then their defense was awesome. Like, I feel like we've done a pretty good job at getting the defense there. He's had good defenses. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's an effort thing. We got a new special teams coordinator. It's just, I'm ready for it to get fixed. And I'm not saying, maybe with a true freshman kicker, it's not perfect this year, but everything else should be. And he's been here, what, 9 years now? Dave says ESPN still has our old kicker on the roster. Well, he's gone. I'm blanking on his name now.
Kesich.
Kesich?
Mr. Kesich, thank you. Yeah, he'll always have that Iowa game from 2 years ago. Last year was not his best year, but hey, it is what it is. He had a great leg, but yeah, he's out of eligibility. I'm almost positive. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Stashes is right. Ryer's competing at a punter exclusively. Then I know he also had big kicking leg as well. Wondering what you guys are hearing. From what I've read, which is pretty much, I've only heard Ryan Burns talk about it. So if anyone else of the other Gophers have talked about it, I missed it. But I think he is primarily a punter and doing the dual sport. He's the dual sport guy with baseball, I believe, if I'm thinking of the right one. Um, maybe he's trying both, but I thought he was punter more than kicking. But I don't know.
At least he's got like athleticism, obviously, and competitive, nature.
Right.
So hopefully he'll, you know, boot that thing,
Yeah.
and hopefully it's a little step up from what we've seen in the previous years at the punting game. Um, but yeah, Kurt, like you said, you know, Iowa could manage to stay in the Big Ten championship conversation, Big Ten West competing for titles year after year with an incompetent offense and solid special teams and a great defense year after year. So I'm just thinking, if the Gophers just had any competent, I don't want to say that our special teams is incompetent, but it's not any good. It's really not any good. If they were just decent, I mean, that could change the outcome
Well,
of so many of those games that we lost.
right.
So
If
they
they were just
have to take it
good,
more seriously.
like it's a huge advantage because I feel like that's one of the areas in the game where you don't need necessarily all these 5 stars. It certainly helps in the return game, but like you don't need all these 5 stars to be really good at special teams play, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I just saw Stash, about Ryers, this was purely fans speculating. I don't think any writer said it, but they thought that Ryers might be I might Rears. I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but he might be more focused on baseball, and that's why they brought in 2 punters late. Again, that's all speculation. I don't think that was any writer that like wrote that. So we'll see on him.
When it comes to special teams, though, doesn't it feel like the punting game and like punt coverage is really what needs to improve? Like of all of it, like obviously the field goal kicking gets the most spotlight because that's what can win or lose you a game technically. But
Sure.
like it feels like year in and year out, we are just giving up field
Well,
position because we can't either get good punts or we can't cover or both. And it just feels like one of those
yeah,
things, like you said, where it's like it doesn't take the most talented team to just not mess it up.
it just takes a lot. It takes time, I think, and coaches. I think even as important as it is, I think coaches want to put the most time in offense defense, which I get. Um, I think overall the coverage units have been solid. I agree on the actual kicking, like the actual punting's been bad, and I would say like the return game is, I think, the most brutal overall. Like we've had a couple, you can like count on one hand the good returns we've had in PJ's tenure, and I think it's only like 3 of them. But um, yeah, so for me, my biggest thing is the return game, and Coy helped that, but it still wasn't great. So I think that's just something that we need to see keep getting better. So.
Yeah. If you're the coaching staff though, and you know that you have this stud out of Coy returning the balls, to me, you got to focus on that return unit to try and just if you can just hit your blocks, he's athletic enough to shake a few tackles and just take off to score or get you some solid return yards. So they need to just input an hour per day this camp on special teams just to get it right.
Yeah. I'm sure they do. Like
Yeah.
this we're fan talking at
It's
this point, but
Yeah, which
it's just like wish one would be better. Dave says, "I love that we are Charles Woodson, our star safety. Iowa should have done that with Cooper DeJean." Yeah, I mean, I Cooper DeJean was obviously a great guy. I mean, I think they utilized him well. How many touchdowns did the guy have? I felt like he returned a few kicks, and so they kind of saved him for defense, which is what I'm hoping the Gophers
right.
lean towards personally with Coy. But like here's the thing: if he is one of your best receivers, great. But I just right now it's tough for me to picture Coy going out there and running better routes than Lanier, definitely Tracy, and all those guys. So to me, like I actually like the way Iowa did it. Jeffrey Grunell, he said Iowa did. Then he broke his leg playing offense. Okay, well there you go, Dave. They did use Coop, and that's literally my fear with Coy. Like, could he play receiver for us and be solid? Probably, but how much of an upgrade at receiver is he over the guys we have? I hope not a ton because on paper those guys look promising, but I don't know. Again, that's another thing why I'm kind of holding back. Like, you never know. I really like the portal receivers we got. They're really high on the young guys we got. A lot of teams feel that way, so I'm just waiting to see how it all meshes together, and it's just tough to predict. So, that was a long answer about Coy's involvement and my overall thoughts on the offense, I guess.
Yeah. No, we'll see. Time will tell, obviously, but I just primarily being safety and returning kicks is important because I don't want to see PJ trying to throw him out there like a Travis Hunter. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
oh,
he's
it's
not.
been
That's
done. You can do it.
exactly, and that's to me where it would feel gimmicky. It's like we have a
Right.
great athlete. Travis Hunter was a great athlete, but I mean, they're different athletes, though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
and Coy, I'm not saying Coy isn't fast. He definitely is. I don't know how much faster. I don't know. Like, there's just certain skill sets are better for different jobs on the football field. That's just how it is, and I just don't know what it would look like. But we'll see. I mean, Coy with the football in his hands is a good thing. So I should just leave it at that and stop pooing the idea. It's probably going to blow up in my face. I hope he wins the Heisman. I look like an idiot.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
but
It would be a good thing if we're all wrong. It would be a great
I hope
thing.
so. I hope he does Charles Woodson it and
Yeah.
wins the Heisman and obviously. But
It's
yeah.
not that for all you listeners, it's not that we aren't excited about just, Coy being this, Swiss Army knife. It's just, you said it, Jeffrey. Cooper DeJean breaks his leg. I mean, that obviously hurts Iowa not only on defense but in the punt return, right? I mean, we can't
Right.
really afford to lose him on those two sides of the football.
Especially since we know the guy that's probably going in there to be the return man if Coy goes down
Right.
this
Oh,
year.
So we
man.
cannot afford that. We can't
So,
afford that to happen. So, uh, again, I want it to work out. I do, but it's just that it's football. It's that war. It's worrying that your best player on the football team pretty
yeah.
much goes down to an injury that is 100% preventable. So,
Yeah, I could keep going on this answer for like Coy should be out there. The strength of the defense is having those three stud safeties because you can move them around all over the field. So if Coy's playing offense and then getting rested on defense for some of the drives, to me that makes the defense less enticing, less exciting. But we've covered all that, and I feel like I'm just hating now. So
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
Anything else?
we referenced the Heisman Trophy in the same sense as a Gopher player, so maybe we are closer to Husker fans than we would
There we
like to
go.
think.
That's right. That's right.
yeah, right. We hit the deep end.
I don't know. Anything else that just stick out to you guys about Big Ten Media Days? I know it's just like a glorified, little tease for the football season, but I just couldn't get over how long Franklin went on about them being in Vegas, and I was like, I don't recognize anybody here. We missed the friendly faces back in the Midwest. It's like, all right, James, it's just I think it's just a short weekend for you, but okay. Like
Complaining
you
about going to
kept going on and
Vegas.
on. Yeah. Maybe it's
That's a
the
long
pressure of
flight for
like.
him, I guess.
And speaking of Penn State, everyone's got them at like number one right now, like to finish in the conference, which I'm surprised by. I mean, it makes sense. I'm just surprised that we're okay just like giving that to Penn State. You know what I mean? Like
There's they are a great football team, but there is one man that is preventing for me to take that hump.
PJ
And
Fleck.
he's also the man that I think is the reason that they did not make the college football championship last year. And that is Drew Aller.
You're
I
saying why they
just
lost the
think
college football playoff? Yeah.
for me he's not really the guy that's going to take you there. He will be a guide
Careful.
there.
Careful. I said something like that and the Nittany Lions fans found out. They don't like it. I actually didn't even say I think he's great. If there's a
He's
well,
like
I
a
think he's
Kirk
good. He's
Cousins.
good. He's good not exactly, but
We
athletic.
know that. We are from
He
as
has
Minnesota.
he
Yeah.
has the tools. He has all the tools to be like the guy. I just haven't like seen it all come together. So I guess I just don't buy into the hype last year or the talking point that he had no receivers to help him out last year when it's like, well, you had like literally just a stud backfield, a good old line. Your tight end finished what fifth or sixth in the Heisman voting, like, and your other tight end was really good too. So I don't know, and I'm not saying Penn State's receivers didn't lack in anything. They definitely did compared to those other top teams. It's just, yeah, I'm with you. I don't put them in like the elite crew of college football, and that was all I was getting at. And I got called a Drew Aller hater, which if you're not a lover, you're a hater, I guess. So, um, let's see.
Yeah.
Dave's got one more comment here. Paul Feinbaum being a bitch about the Big Ten, but what else is new? Yeah, that's kind of his thing now,
Yeah.
especially with Ohio State and Michigan winning the last two. There's a lot of copium going on, I should say, in SEC land right now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean it's entertaining for sure to watch. Guys like Paul who are just on the ESPN SEC payroll that like have to come up with these talking points, and they just get so ridiculous. You like know they're just one mad and two just doing it because their company's basically needing them to. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it all signals just the
Well,
balancing, like the table is turning, I guess, to the Big Ten just being that much more equal, if not a little bit better. So
I was listening, and Paul Feinbaum said that the Big Ten was better than the SEC. But
there you
now I
go.
feel like ESPN is turning that into how could you let this happen? You are the SEC.
Oh,
It's not like, oh, the Big Ten, they have great athletes that they deserve. It's more like
okay,
get it
right,
together, SEC. What's wrong? You know what I mean? That's what it's sort of turned
right.
into,
Like the
which
SEC
is
fell behind or something.
exactly. But
Here's
I
the
don't think
thing.
it's like they fell behind. I think that the Big Ten now with NIL and everything can reach that level just
Right.
as easy.
I agree. I agree.
That's
I don't think
just
there's
what
much of a gap. The top
right,
teams rotate in the country every year. And we're
right.
kidding ourselves if Georgia and Texas, the LSUs and still Bama aren't going to make those runs too, right? Like, so I don't think it's going to be like, I don't think, I mean, I would love it, but I don't think the Big Ten's about to go on and win like the next eight, kind of like you saw run with the SEC and the BCS era. But, um, you know, that whole conference versus conference thing, like it's partially the SEC fans' fault and ESPN's because they fueled it of just how like they built up this conference versus conference thing, and it didn't have to be this way.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it can't be fun, but like for me, it all got taken too far where it's just like annoying now, and we're rooting for a
it
team just
is.
because they beat all of our teams, but at least they'll beat all your teams too. I don't know. It's something about
Yeah,
it just seems kind of lame to me, to be honest. But
I agree. Like I
I'll never
don't.
mind seeing the SEC cry or ESPN. I'd rather see
Yeah,
ESPN downfall, to be honest, than like. I mean, I enjoy watching SEC football, obviously too. So
yeah. I just don't. I don't. You go to SEC. When I lived in New Orleans, you hear SEC chants. I don't get
that's
it. Like
sad.
you have to play each other every year.
I
Why do
know it's so sad.
you recruit against these teams? You play every year. You try to be the champion, but
Like I'm trying to think of
I don't get it.
like Iowa and Wisconsin are easy no's because they're our rivals, but like I don't know if like I'm trying to think of somebody that's like kind of neutral to us in the conference. Like
Okay, like Indiana. Was it cool to see them make the college football playoff?
right, that was a
Of
little
course it
different.
was. But it's not
But
like
like
I'm like, "Go Indiana, show them what."
well, how about this? Like Illinois, I have like no love for Illinois. It's not like I hate despise them, but it's not like I. Although Brett Bielema is somehow getting more and more likable, just the trolling does and whatnot. But just take Illinois for example. Like if Illinois is facing off against, I'm trying to think of another team that I kind of like outside the Big Ten, like a Clemson or heck, like even if they played like
Oregon.
I didn't mind Georgia before they got good and Kirby Smart and they're like crashing into everybody down there. But like you know what I mean? Like there's teams like that where I'm like I'm not automatic to root for like Brett Bielema in Illinois to win a natty over another team. Like
Right.
I'm trying to think of an example. Like Oklahoma. I think I would root for Oklahoma over Illinois in the natty, even though that's not conference alignment. So
And that would be
maybe that's
blasphemy down in the SEC, Kurt.
yeah, that's how it feels like.
Yeah,
That's how they act on social media at least.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Dave chimes in, and I absolutely loved it when Ohio State mocked Tennessee during their playoff game, chanting SEC. Yeah, that was great. And they set themselves up. So I'm all for that.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
right.
Like if anyone's gonna mock the SEC chant, I'm all for that. And they
Right.
brought it on themselves. They completely brought it
They
on
did.
themselves because I remember we played Missouri and unfortunately lost in that bowl game, and I went to it and that was like their first or second year in the SEC. I think it was their first year. I could be wrong. And they were chanting it at the bowl game. I'm like, what is this? Like, what
At the
even
Citrus
is?
Bowl?
Yeah, their
Ugh.
fans were chanting SEC. I'm like, oh my gosh,
It's weird. It's just
it's a
weird.
it
It's
is
really
weird.
odd.
It's like Tom Brady kissing his kids on the lips. Weird, you know? Like just like
What I
Yeah.
always think of the SEC fandom is just like it's regional, right? Like it's the deep south, like all the football is life down there. Missouri, Kentucky, like
yeah,
I don't think so. Like
right,
if Kentucky's SEC football, that how close Indiana is to Kentucky, like
right.
I don't think that
Well,
really
now
counts.
Vandy's talking crap. The quarterback's been like how
Oh
they're
gosh.
gonna surprise people and I'm all
Sure.
for teams having optimism, but it's just like all right, I'm not gonna take crap talk against the Big Ten from Vanderbilt's quarterback who they just lost to like who did they lose to last year? It's like some MAC team or something. But
Bowling Green.
anyway,
Yeah.
somebody
One
I
really
no
quick,
no no
I
that's
guess
just us
on
that
the
do that.
topic of Tennessee and Big Ten Media Day, the Nico Amaleva comment. We may as well talk
Yeah,
about that. He basically said he left to go to UCLA to be closer to his family. He doesn't understand these headlines about Tennessee kicking him out or kicking him off the team. It had nothing to do with these fake reports about NIL deals and money and how this was just this was a decision that was best for him because he wanted to go and be closer to his family. Wow.
Who said
that
this?
Nico
that's the
himself.
quarterback. Yeah, that's Nico
Oh
himself, the
yeah,
quarterback
lies.
who
He goes removed from the team by Tennessee.
That's what I'm saying. Hypo's comments like immediately after is like, "We're moving on." Like that wouldn't be said if the player was like, "Yeah, I gotta go back closer to family." Like personal choice for the player. Yeah, that's not what happened. No one believes that. Obviously, he doesn't have the best advice given to him. I'm sure that's the line he was given to say. So,
yeah.
Good luck out there, Nico.
It's tough. It sucks when your dad costs you that much money.
Yeah. Well, so Curb Street, this will be the last thing. We can move on and wrap this one up. But Herb Street was saying how he heard that it wasn't necessarily he wanted more money to himself. He wanted more money going out to like go get playmakers from the portal, because if they didn't get more playmakers around him, he was gonna like he might not go in the first round as like a quarterback and stuff like that. So he wanted to make sure he had the weapons around him with you know. Either way, if I'm a player
He's
and you're
playing
paying
like
me
GM.
exactly, right? Like you're getting paid $2 million to go play quarterback like in college, and you have the audacity to go tell and be like, "Hey, you need to spend your money." I would just be quiet and play quarterback and do my best to go win.
Jeez.
But that's just me, I guess. I'm
You better be
nobody. I'm
really good if you're gonna do
what
that.
do I know? I was never going to D1 anyway, so.
Give me your money and I'll go out there and recruit some talent. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It makes no
Exactly.
sense. Well, good luck out there, Nico.
Just want to say as we wrap this one up, appreciate the growing support. Our last few episodes have done really well, especially the audio listens on Spotify and Apple. So appreciate that. If you want to leave a comment, something you want read on the show, if you hit that subscribe button, we will definitely do that for you. Just you can do that now on Spotify and Apple. So if you leave comments, we'll get the notification just to help. It keeps building the algorithm, so I've been told. So if you want to do that, we appreciate it. Subscribe, and we do appreciate you guys tuning in for this as we get closer to some actual football to cover.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you all, as always, for tuning in to another episode of Sky U Pod. Again, check us out on YouTube, X, wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. We encourage you to check out our partner's website, thecollegehuddle.com, for many more college football podcasts and articles. As always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Go Gophers.